Second. Sorry. Just say we were just about to start. The meeting will be broadcast live and recorded by Foxboro Cable Access. I will entertain a motion to open the meeting.
I make a motion to open the May 13th school committee meeting.
I second.
All in favor? All right, unanimous. Thank you very much. First thing we're going to do is the pledge, and we have two wonderful teachers, Ms. Clements and Ms. Gomes, here to lead us in the pledge with Joe Garrity.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much for being here tonight and doing that. Okay, we're going to start off with the school committee reorganization. We just had an election last week, and we have two very familiar faces still here. Very happy to see you both. Thank you very much for stepping up again. Allison's here for a full term, and Michelle's starting her second term. So thank you very, very much. So I just wanted to take a quick second to thank the board and to thank administration and to single out Jamie Quattrini, who is not able to be here tonight, and all the support and patience you've all had with me over the last 2 years in my role as chair. But as the reorganization is happening right now, I'd like to take this opportunity to nominate Nathan Ehrman as the next chair.
I'd second that.
Thank you. All right. And all in favor of Nathan being our new chair? It is a roll call vote. Sorry.
Yes, Allison Cully.
Michelle Thaxton, aye.
Sarah Ladani, aye.
Nathan Ehrman, aye.
Pat McGuire, aye.
Thank you very much for offering to step up, Nate, and I'm going to hand everything over to you.
Thank you to the whole board for entrusting me with this position. Moving on to the next position we have is vice chair and the clerk of the meeting as well. So I'll entertain a motion for vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Pat for vice chair.
Second. All in favor, we'll start on the left. Allison.
Aye, Allison Cully.
Michelle Thaxton, aye.
Nathan Ehrman, aye.
Sarah Ladani, aye.
Pat McGuire, aye.
Thanks for stepping up, Pat.
Yes.
Next agenda item is open public comment. I don't see any. Is anyone here for open public comment? Moving on to the approval of minutes. We have two sets of minutes here. The first one is the April 21st Policy Subcommittee meeting.
I make a motion to approve the policy subcommittee meeting minutes from April 21st, 2026.
Second.
All in favor? 500. Moving on to the April 28th Policy Subcommittee meeting minutes.
I make a motion to accept the policy subcommittee meeting minutes from April 28th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor? 500. Moving on to the teaching and learning highlight, March Madness, improving student writing stamina.
Thank you, Mr. Worth. I just wanted to announce that we are having some technical difficulties. Therefore,
Oh, you want to stand? Okay.
I don't know, Dr. Burrows, if you'd like to just fill us in.
Sure. So we just cannot locate the clicker. So if you just say click next in the booth, they'll click through for you.
It's not in the script, so.
I'm sorry.
And one other thing I just wanted to remind you both, just so the people at home can hear you, can you get nice and close to the microphone, please?
Sure.
I don't have anything to add to this presentation, but I just want to introduce Mrs. Gomes and Mrs. Clements. So Mrs. Gomes and Mrs. Clements are fourth grade co-teachers at the Borough, and they are truly great teachers. And one of the things that makes them so great is their ability to engage students. And how they do this is by, first of all, being really enthusiastic about what they teach. Many people are enthusiastic about what they teach, but the way that you transfer that enthusiasm to your students is with programs like this. It sustains their engagement, it creates that shared enthusiasm, and you're going to see that tonight when you listen to them speak about this program that they've created and that they've run for the past couple of years. They are not only truly great teachers alone, but together they make an exceptional team, and you will see that tonight. So I hope you enjoy.
Thank you very much. So we'll get right to it. So we're here tonight to talk about March Madness. So this is actually our second year implementing March Madness. It's a class-wide reading competition that we designed to make reading comprehension more meaningful, engaging, and motivating for students. Click next.
You have to look at this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in fourth grade, there's a big shift in literacy for students. In the earlier grades, there's a big focus on, learning to read. And then once fourth grade, we're really getting into reading and reading. That process, shift, thank you. It increases the need for their comprehension, locating text evidence, some deeper thinking. And so our job was to try to take that experience and make it, that work, that really hard work for students, make it feel more exciting and more engaging.
So this next slide shows the process of March Madness. So for every round, students read a grade level passage and they answered comprehension questions independently. So it was typically 4 multiple choice questions. And, I'm so sorry. It was 4 multiple choice questions, and they would earn points throughout the questions for using their strategies, their resources, and so the students each received a scorecard, and the scorecard really mirrored the strategy checklist that we had rolled out earlier on in the year. So some of the skills that they would, and strategies that they would apply to earn these points are analyzing the question, highlighting important words, going back find their evidence, eliminating answer choices, and of course finding the correct answer. So all of those work habits and strategies would get them the highest point total for each question. Click next, please.
So we wanted to talk a little bit through how this process would go. So there were 4 rounds, and we would begin each round by identifying a literacy standard, either a literature or an informational standard that we wanted to focus on, and we would co-teach a mini lesson. After the mini lesson, we would roll out the task. So we would present the passage to students and remind them what strategies they could use and the expectations, and provide them some encouragement along the way. Then they would go off and they would use all of their things to complete the activity independently. And what was interesting was that because we are the co-taught room, we have a wide range of abilities. But we didn't want to lower the expectations. So what we did was every student accessed the grade level material, but they used the accommodations that they have on their IEP. So you can kind of see here, we have students working here, and then here you have students using their read aloud feature. So all of those accommodations so that every student could be successful with the same passage. One of the things that we found really important, I'm straying from the microphone. One of the things that we found really important was actually after all was said and done, we would have a reflection period. So we would bring all of the kids together and we would do something called our noticings. So we would talk as a class, or what are some of the things that we noticed in the passage? What are some things we noticed as we were working? And then what are some things we noticed that we want to improve on for the next time? And it really got them excited about, I struggled with this, but I'm going to do this better next time. And we would use it as a launching off point for the next time when we started a round. Next, please.
So one thing we were really intentional about was making sure that every student could experience success. So students were recognized in a variety of ways. So for example, round winners were on the slides. Students who earned a perfect score on their scorecard for that round were titled MVPs. They got their faces on a basketball player. There's an example there. You probably saw some examples on the other slides. They loved that. I mean, who wouldn't? It was fun. Students were also acknowledged for their strong effort, for high point totals, for scoring higher than they scored the previous round. So I think that setting it up in that way made it really successful, and it also made for a very positive, motivating environment in the classroom. Click next.
So we wanted to share, this is one round of our MVPs, and we wanted to just to point out, this was actually incredibly motivating for the students. They loved seeing their picture, they loved becoming a professional athlete, and we would use, this would be a big reveal to them, so they wouldn't know until later who actually did it. And they were so excited, not only for themselves, but for each other. There was a lot of really great opportunities for sportsmanship, for congratulations, for encouragement. You didn't get it last time, but you got it this time, kind of thing. And so that was really great. It became, and then we hung them all up, and so it became like a really,
Just like a positive classroom culture, and
Yeah.
and really it was like an intrinsic motivation. Like they weren't really going against each other. They wanted to do better for themselves. They wanted to get a higher point score than they did last round, and they wanted to be an MVP. And they were also learning and practicing complex reading at the same time, which was, our hidden goal the whole time. Next, please. So one of our biggest takeaways from this experience was just seeing the growth that the students had in terms of their confidence, their engagement, and their overall ability to read and comprehend these complex texts. They developed stamina, they persevered through hard tasks, and we gave them some really hard, long passages that they're expected to be able to read and understand and work with, in fourth grade. And they all rose to it. So I think this really did show that rigorous learning and joyful learning can happen at the same time.
And we would like to end by showing you an example of joyful learning, because we had the privilege of one round where every single student in our classroom independently got an MVP award. And when we told them, this was their reaction. So if you want to show the next one.
Oh, that's the end. It didn't go up. That's okay. It was everyone in the class cheering, jumping
They all
up and
had
down
their
for joy.
medals.
They
They
had
were
their
all
medals.
cheering, and it
We
was-
can reenact it, but we won't. But yes. So that's it. Any questions? Any comments? Okay.
Dr. Bertos has something.
I just want to say, if you think about the kids in their classroom, you see the enthusiasm there, so you can imagine what it's like. So I think we can all picture what we're not seeing on the quick video piece. But even like with the Celtics attire, I mean, they've got a better outcome there, right? So I think that what they do every day is what you see in classrooms across. The engagement and the stamina piece that we've talked about, that's something that's in our plan for success, and really working and building on the reading and writing stamina. We know in the digital age that we're in, these quick pieces, how important it is, and to be able to have it in an environment like that, that intrinsic motivation, it says a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, and with,
I really love the reference cards too, with all of the different reading comprehension strategies, because those strategies are so important vertically. They're really going to help your kids when they move to the next grade level. They're going to be really fantastic readers in ELA and in social studies. And I know that Karen McKinnon is very happy to see all of those reading strategies.
One of the things that we didn't want to do was have March Madness feel like something new. We wanted it to be a continuation of what we were already doing, but just more of a celebration of what we were already doing, rather than this is just for this particular thing. So that's why we tried to incorporate all of the same things that we were doing in class, but just in a fun way.
I'm very jealous that I didn't have that when I was in your fourth grade class, but that's okay. At least students today will have that. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is the superintendent's update.
Okay, so just want to start off with some congratulations, and the first being to the cast at the Ahern for James and the Giant Peach. I went to the first showing, if you will, on the Thursday night, and then they continued through the weekend, and I heard that each show continued to get even better, and I don't know how that's possible based on what I saw on Thursday night. Under Scott Walker's direction, from the cast, from the setting, to just the performances. They really were outstanding. So exciting. and really thoroughly enjoyed it. So congratulations to them. They did a fantastic job. Also wanted to congratulate our students at the Ahern and at the high school for Project Lead the Way. Last Friday, they were competing in a competition, a statewide engineering, computer science and biomedical engineering competition that was led by the 1-8 organization. And that particular event, what happens is that they are there in teams, and they have judges that come around and look at their posters and talk about the problem solving that they're doing, and really presenting their work that's real work of what takes place like in the industry. And we did have 4 high school students that ended up winning, so congratulations to them, because as a result of winning, they end up getting a 50-hour paid internship. That's going to come out of that with an engineering company in the greater Boston area. So congratulations to our Ahern students and our high school students for that STEM showcase that they were in last Friday. Also wanted to say thank you. Thank you to so many people that were involved in teacher appreciation and have just done so many special treats and lunches for our teachers and staff in the buildings. It was really appreciated, and it was just some amazing food to also. So thank you to all those behind the scenes and then right there, providing it in the schools. And that was thanks to our PTOs that did that, and other parent organizations, even at the high school where you don't have a PTO. Mm-hmm. So the PTOs, the PAC, and then other high school parents that came forward. So thank you very much. It was very much appreciated. Also want to thank you all for coming to town meeting on Monday night and for the town supporting our budget, which is so critically important, from the operating budget to our capital improvements, and then also with passing the for the feasibility study for the Taylor. So really excited to start that next stage, but in touch with the MSBA even today about what we need to do as far as the next certifications and those things. And we'll talk a little bit later in appointments, because now that we have that vote, we're going to need a school committee member to be part of the building committee as we move forward. So lots of gratitude that's there. And then really just I want to highlight, I've said it before at the last meeting, this is the time of year where the calendar is chock full. There are so many things, from performances to meet and greet for kindergarten, concerts. There's lots going on. So make sure to watch the newsletters that the principals are sending out. There's a lot of information there. The calendar on the website has all of it listed. Just coming up this week on Thursday, we have the art show that's taking place at the IGO and at the Ahern. The art show is like before the 7th and 8th grade concert. So you can go, you can see the artwork, then you can go to the concert. And then on Monday, we have the digital safety and mindfulness opportunity that's going to be taking place from 6:30 to 8 on the 18th, and that's for keeping you safe online, what every person should know. So that opportunity was sent out as well. Principals are sending it out again, but that's taking place on Monday the 18th. And then next Tuesday, art show, 6th grade band, orchestra, jazz concert taking place. So check your calendars. There's a lot to be able to go and to see really the hard work of all of our teachers and our staff this time of year. I was talking with one of our reading specialists a little bit earlier, and the kids are blooming, if you will, with what they're seeing in the progress. And it's really exciting, from talking about, this used to be a trick word earlier in the year, and they're no longer trick words. And their excitement, and it's the hard work of our teachers. So teacher appreciation is officially in the United States the first week of May, but it really is all year for all that they do with our kids every day and for the families that support them. So just really wanted to put that gratitude out and to take a moment, finish strong as we continue to have many weeks left of school, but at the same time really celebrate the learning and growth that they've made from the hard work of so many people. And that's it for updates.
Thank you. The next agenda item is the school committee student representative report. Unfortunately, they could not be here today because, as Dr. Burdos alluded to, it's the end of the year, very busy time with exams and finals. So moving on to the social studies curriculum review.
Okay, so as our Director of K-8 Curriculum and Instruction, Karen McKinnon, and our high school Social Studies Department Head, gets themselves situated up there, I am going to just introduce the curriculum review and review the memo for a bit with you all. So in front of you in your packet, you have a memo. You have the Social Studies Curriculum Review Report. That report will be posted on our website after tonight's review presentation. And then at the end of the report, you do have a copy of tonight's presentation. Our curriculum review process is very thorough. It begins at the beginning of the year. It is led by our curriculum leadership. And Karen and Kristen did an amazing job this year. I'm really excited about what they're going to share with you this evening. They're going to share with you a number of things that they spoke about and researched and analyzed throughout this year. There are only 3 items that we're going to be asking for a school committee vote on. This is a little bit tricky of a vote, and I'm going to allow Karen to get into more of the details about this because it's very exciting. But we will be asking for the school committee vote to adopt investigating history in grades 3 through 7. We will then be asking for the school committee's vote to adopt the economics textbook in the amount of $10,400 and the psychology textbook in the amount of $5,500. And you will find out more exciting information about investigating history in tonight's presentation, so I will pass it off to these two.
Excellent. Thank you. So we can do the next slide.
Click next.
Click next.
He's trying, I see him back there, so.
Okay. Well, you all can see your slides, right? So
Yes.
we'll just kind of go through. If I recall, we'll kind of do it together. But starting off with the members of our committee. So we're very thankful for the people who volunteered their time to come and join and work on this committee. And then the next slide talks a little bit about the process that we undertook going through the review. So each of these, the sheet with the arrows, we'll talk a little bit about each of these different areas. Here we go. Equity analysis assessment, how we then identified areas of growth and strengths. I think we're particularly proud of the vision and mission statements that we created this year. Then we set our focus questions and goals, our recommendations, and then at the end of the packet and the presentation is our timeline and budget needs. So next slide. I'm not going to...
The equity assessment is something that every single curriculum review is going to utilize in order to start sort of setting standards and figuring out where we stand currently and then what we want to do moving forward. So our equity assessment came out with some very strong strengths that we feel our entire curriculum, K through 12, is working towards, but also some very clear identified needs that are very actionable, but also very connected to what we have going forward across the district.
So next slide. So these were the areas of the equity assessment, the findings, and like Kristen said, some consistent needs that we saw across the board, but a lot of really great strengths to highlight some of the curriculum mapping across the grade levels, the social and emotional learning that's embedded in, that is encompasses a lot of the civic standards for the elementary, project-based learning. But then we also had some need for some alignment, some new textbooks, new materials, and things like that.
From the previous curriculum review in 2019-2020, when we presented via Zoom for that curriculum review, we had a really large task of realigning all our curriculum K through 12 to the new 2018 curriculum standards that the state had put out. So this review was much more about where we went from that point on into what we envision for ourselves going forward in the next 5 years, how we can continue that mission, but also incorporate some new ideas and make sure that that alignment is strong K through 12.
So this is our vision statement. Foxborough Public Schools History and Social Sciences program will empower all K-12 students to become informed, empathetic, and globally aware citizens through rigorous historical inquiry, critical literacy, and engagement with diverse perspectives.
And then our mission says that we help learners grow as thoughtful, empathetic, and socially aware individuals by encouraging them to ask meaningful questions, analyze diverse perspectives, and draw evidence-based conclusions about historical and contemporary issues.
So we identified goals for the review. We did this work by grade span, just because it made a little bit more sense. So you'll see some differences in some of the target goals based on those different grade spans. After we identified goals, then we had essential or focus questions that we developed to kind of guide the work.
Yeah. Yep. And at the high school, ours really we want to make sure that our vision of a graduate is aligned to our curriculum standards. So that's a significant amount of the work that we're going to do, making sure that the vision of a graduate is embedded in our instructional practices or in our assessment practices. And we also started to have lots of conversations about need for bringing history to the more modern era. So much of our history is getting longer, so we feel like we have to make sure that we're adopting some real great connections to historical thinking to real world applications.
So we'll start off talking a little bit about elementary social studies, and like Kristen had said, with the COVID, it was a little bit different for the elementary schools because when COVID, the shutdown happened, the focus of instruction was really literacy and math. So social studies and science took a bit of a backseat because teachers had to prioritize what it was that they were able to teach. So the standards with that big shift in 2018, we still need to designate some time to really learn the standards and make sure we have that vertical alignment and that we've switched over to, dropping some of the ones that were prior to 2018. So that's some of the work that we're going to be doing that we did on the committee that we've identified that we'll continue to do to make sure we have strong vertical alignment that matches with the current standards. You can go to the next slide. So the focus questions that we developed here were a lot about, well, you can read some of them, but common assessments and making sure we had diverse titles. Vertical alignment was a big thing, and the idea of inquiry and how do we incorporate inquiry into the instruction. So we did research. The bulk of our work focused on research at the elementary and the middle school level. So we closely examined the standards at each grade level. We also looked at curricular guidance and instructional resources provided by the state. So this was a PowerPoint. Each of those are embedded links that took the committee members to different places on the DESE website and then to different articles and things to research. There was a lot of information out there about the critical role of social studies learning and student achievement, and there's a lot of interesting research about student achievement in ELA is receiving or making greater gains through the study of social studies and history, as opposed to just the study of more, focus more on literacy. So having those social studies standards really back in our curriculum, finding the time for it, embedding some of it in the literacy block to make sure that we're having enough of that increased time on social studies so that we can have that greater learning impact that research is showing us. So then middle school, you can go on to the next slide. A lot of the focus questions were slightly different. We talked a little bit about project-based learning. We talked about technology and kind of the use and the balance of technology, use in the classroom versus paper and pencil, and trying to, like I said, kind of have that balance there. And then also with the vertical alignment piece, really looking at that 6 to 7 world civilization standards and making sure that everything was really aligned. So some of those research articles there are the same, and some of them are different based on the focus questions and things that we were trying to find answers to.
And in the high school, Our focus questions revolved around ensuring high expectations across our core courses as well as our elective courses, ensuring that we improve our units to give those real-world experiences through either project-based learning or inquiry-based lessons. How well does our curriculum align with the vision of a graduate, and how can we more intentionally connect our content to those modern and current events? So looking at media literacy, looking at making sure that students understand how to really adapt and understand the current events and their connections to history. As far as our research is concerned, we did look at media literacy. We had Jessica Booker, our digital learning coach, working with us. So she brought in some great research as far as use of AI, ways in which we can bring that media literacy into our students' learning, as well as I did a curriculum questionnaire with my department asking them about how much they are using things like project-based learning, how much do they feel that they are adept at blending all our assessment tools, and how much do we really feel that we are all in line with those things. So we're really making sure that as a team we're working to build on what the middle school is working on as well, and making sure that our students are getting the same across every single course that they take.
So the findings, these are elementary and middle school linked there together. So I talked about it a little bit earlier, but a lot of the civic standards are supported by responsive classroom and second step, things that are happening in elementary classrooms, embedding those social studies units in ELA. Some of the needs, again, that vertical, horizontal alignment, working on some more complete curriculum mapping, especially at K-2, where a lot of that instruction, like I said earlier, focused on the early literacy, the reading and the writing skills, and not so much on the social studies. So inquiry-based learning came up as a positive finding and something that we really wanted to continue and expand upon through the K-7 curriculum. Developing common assessments and continuing to increase our understanding of the standards to support that alignment. Those are some of our findings.
And our findings, you can see that they're bolded there, some of the real highlighted in the findings and the needs. We're looking at not necessarily adoption of new textbooks, but how we can ensure good supplemental materials. There are a lot of really wonderful supplemental materials that are free and that are really high quality and come from really vetted research and vetted resources. So we're making sure that we're all kind of using those as applicable. Textbook adoption, we do need the AP Psychology textbook adoption, and we're moving to much more of an online text that provides students with a lot of simulation work, a lot of hands-on activities that they can work through. So we are moving into sort of a different platform, same product, but different approach there. Vision of a graduate is definitely at the center of what we want to do. We want to make sure that it is seen by our students and that our students understand it, and it is part of their daily reflection and daily instructional work. Every unit has something that is very much connected to vision of a graduate. And then as far as us kind of continuing that curriculum work, making sure that we have sort of pacing guides, everybody is getting, the same thing and getting to the same place as far as content development is concerned, but that we're also making sure that there's intentional use of current events into our historical learning. And then as far as our instruction, it's too small on my paper and I can't read it from here either.
Connecting to contemporary issues.
Yes, contemporary issues basically in the student experience. The eyes are going. And as far as assessment needs, we do want to just ensure that we have sort of equity across our assessment platform and making sure that our assessments are really at the center of student learning. We have a lot of already developed core assessments that all our classes are doing, but we want to make sure that we're correlating them all together. And then again, vision of a graduate and current events into our historical instruction.
So for the elementary findings, I keep talking about inquiry, and that was something that was really important as we looked at this vertical alignment. So for K-2, there's a lot of what they call, well, first of all, the standards are aligned around 4 areas in K-2: civics, geography, history, and economics. So it's the same major focus, those 4 areas across the grade level. So when we looked at kind of recommendations for materials and how to create and build things, we looked around those. There's a We looked at some pay resources, but there's a ton of what they call open resource free materials that are online right now. So we spent a lot of time looking through those and really found that we liked the open resource materials a lot. So we're going to incorporate some of those. So we went through, and the first one is the iCivics. These they're called private eye mysteries. They're inquiry-based mysteries where the kids use primary and secondary sources to analyze those and ask questions and really learn to kind of think like historians. So we're going to use those private eye history and mystery inquiries, and then also Discovering Justice, which is also an inquiry-based program. So those open resources we're going to be able to use for most of those three out of the 4 standards, but that 4th one around geography, we saw these beautiful map and globe carts that are wonderful. So there's the maps there you can write and wipe off, the globes you can write on, and there's teacher guide and resources for the students. So we're really excited about that. That is a purchase, but it's a hands-on program that allows the kids to problem solve and to collaborate. And so that combination of those 3 pieces are really going to enable us to really completely fill out those curriculum maps and give some solid resources to the teachers. When you look at our 3-year timeline, one other thing that we would like to do is have some consistent mentor text that all 3 of the buildings are exposing kids to for that horizontal alignment, but that maybe year 1, maybe into year 2, I'm looking at some mentor text purchases for that. Then when it comes to grades 3 and 4, and this actually goes to grades 3 to 7, is investigating history. So investigating history is a open resource program that the state wrote. So it was the History and Social Sciences Department, along with teachers from throughout the state, took the time over 4 to 5 years to write this really thorough history, social studies program for our students, directly aligned to not only our social studies content standards, but to our ELA standards, and also to the social studies practice standards. So when you look at the amount of standards that teachers are asked to combine in creating their own materials is really, really challenging. The state is really urging us to take that burden off of teachers and to use some of these open resource and other high-quality instructional materials to provide what the reference that I use is like the ship. Like, we got to give everybody the ship, and you can, put your, slide that goes over the water, and you can have your dance floor and your ship, but we need to give everyone a ship. So we really took that into consideration. So investigating history, we had our 5th grade teachers start to play around with some of the units probably 4 years ago. Heavy inquiry based. It was a bit of a change and a real strong shift in the way that the teachers were teaching, not just delivering the information to the kids, but actually posing questions and having the kids come up with questions, again, with heavy use of primary and secondary sources. So they had some really strong success in 5th grade, and then they offered a pilot for the 3rd and 4th grade teachers. Those were 2 of my pilot teachers who were here earlier, Melissa and Courtney. They did a great job with the pilot. So we did piloting at all 3 of the elementary schools. The pilot teachers were amazing. They gave the state a ton of feedback on the program, on things that they were enjoying and areas that they were struggling with or that the students were struggling with. They've just done a ton of updates to the 3, 4, and 5 program, and over the last 4 to 5 years, they've done a lot of updates in the 6th and 7th grade program as well. So Massachusetts has very distinct standards in social studies that are not like a lot of the other states. So having a program that was developed just for us is really helpful, because we can assure teachers that by teaching this, you are hitting all of your standards, and so you don't have to piecemeal and look for secondary resources. Everything is going to be there for you. There's no program that's perfect, and so I say this to teachers too, and the 5th grade teachers and 3rd and 4th grade teachers know this, but it's really strong, and it is that base, that ship, that we want to give the teachers. In addition to the investigating history program and considering the adoption, the professional development that comes, or the professional development that's needed, when the pilot teachers participated in the pilot, there was in-person PD, wonderful training that was not only about the pedagogy and kind of the managing of the program, but around the content. And so helping the teachers really deeply understand the content that they're going to be expected to teach prior to beginning a unit. So there was a grant opportunity that was presented to districts throughout the state this year, and we applied for the grant, and we were awarded a significant $90,000 or $990,000 grant, to help with the purchase of materials. Even though it is free online, teachers like to have the hard copies, and then there's the student pieces, the colored resources for the inquiries that is going to be provided for us. And then the other big piece is professional development. So all our grades 3 to 7 teachers are going to have some professional development. The elementary schools, it's a train-the-trainer model because there's so many of them. We can't have all the teachers going out for professional development on a certain day. So we have 3 really exceptional teachers who are going to lead that training at the building level, along with myself and the principals. And then at the middle school, all of the social studies teachers will receive in-person training around the program. And again, the content, where the standards are really in depth, is going to be super, super helpful. So we're really excited about the outcome of selecting investigating history. And it really did guide the work that we did in K-2 around that inquiry-based, and led us to the decisions we made around the private eye mysteries and the maps and discovering justice. So I think I said kind of the same things through investigating history here. So I think I've said enough.
Okay. All right, so our high school recommendations is to ensure and to adopt some media literacy tools, to work with our digital learning coordinator in order to get those classroom supports, align our UBD templates to the vision of a graduate, incorporating those into our instruction and our curriculum documents, and better integration of those inquiry-based experiences. As we're going to see kids coming up with all that inquiry experience through the investigating history, we want to make sure that we're continuing that work up at the high school. And then I want to speak a little bit to the training preparation and approval for the new AP economics course. So we will be coming to you next January for the approval of the course itself. We have approximately 20 students every year who are signing up for AP Economics, and they are taking it on the VHS platform. And so it seems only prudent that we start to bring it into our actual classroom rosters and making sure that it's available for students to take within a real classroom setting. So our plan, and it's laid out in our year's plan, that this year we're going to send a teacher who is willing to teach the course and is excited about teaching AP Micro and Macro for the year, sending them to AP Institute, getting them trained and prepared so that they can start to build the curriculum and start to vet resources and figure out what is really necessary in our coming school year, and then ensuring that we get the resources in the second year of our program and our curriculum review here in order to start that program for 27-28 and getting students registered into that actual course. So that's our plan for the AP Economics. It's sort of a delayed start, but we wanted to make sure that it was coming to you so that you could foresee that budgetarily. And we think that it's going to be an excellent addition to our course load, and that students really want that course. And it's really pertinent in today's world. So that's our high school recommendations. And then I know our timeline will also reflect these identifications.
Yeah, so the timeline this is for elementary. You just mentioned, what I talked about with through the investigating history, aligning to empowering writers, and then building those mentor texts out, continuing to work on instructional coaching through the investigating history grant's a 3-year grant. So we'll have 3 years of support for professional development for the 3 to 7th grade teachers. And then the middle school, similar.
Yep, this pretty much reflects everything that we've been talking about, all the identifications of what our findings are and what we're hoping to work on in the next couple years. And it really is looking financially at just the AP Psych adoption and then the AP Economics adoption in time.
Those are the budget implications for
high school.
high school, and then if you keep clicking,
You
you'll
keep
see
clicking, yeah.
the map cards. Some updated atlases the 7th grade teachers would like, and then the year 2 additional text to support some of that, especially the K-2.
And if you look on page 22 in the curriculum report, there's a more detailed description of the budget implications and the purchases than what you see on that presentation slide, if you're curious. I will say that outside of the $90,000 grant that Karen was able to pursue and receive, all of these additional expenses we're able to cover in our curriculum review funds, so there is no added cost. It works within budget, and we're able to cover that in the next fiscal year.
Perfect. Well, I'd just like to start off by thanking both of you, the entire committee, and all the social studies teachers that were involved in this, because this whole review is not an easy process. So I'd just like to start with that. Does anyone on the board have any questions or comments?
I want to thank you folks, because I think that the social studies program is something that sort of gets overlooked in the general public when people are talking about school and everything else, and I think it's very important. At least I know some of the teachers that I had are still there, and I really had a passion for it, and I appreciate all the work that they did. It's so important for critical thinking for development. A lot of people don't, like, they usually think like the math and the English and everything else, but the part where students really develop that muscle of like evaluating information and sort of examining its validity, that all that heavy lifting is done within the social studies program. It's why most lawyers come from some sort of history background and things like that. So I think it's really important. I think that your department does great, and it's been great for a really long time, and it's just very appreciated. It is funny, though, when I looked at connecting to current events and I saw the example was like connecting something to like 9/11, and I'm like, well, 9/11 was like 26 years ago.
Exactly.
And when I was in school, that was like Vietnam, and then I just felt really old, and I was like sitting there doing the math, because I remember when you first started, Mrs. Tarico, and when you were Miss Remy's, and now it's all these years later. So I'm like doing that. I'm like so long ago. But,
Yeah.
yep. So
Yeah, and
thank you.
I think that was a really healthy part of our conversations as we started really thinking about, like, what is it that we want to enhance? Where is our kind of weakness right now? And, we have the historical parts, but we really have, because of the way they've realigned some of the historical core courses, it's very hard to get to more modern times because of the time constraint of the practice standards and the content that you're trying to give them. So we're really saying, okay, no, we have to make very intentional moments where we say, where is Vietnam connected maybe to the more modern wars in Iraq? How can we bring those things together so kids are getting all of it and they are getting those glimpses? Where can we make those really good alignments that are very intentional?
I mean, history doesn't change, so it's just
But it just
more
keeps
just
on
gets
going.
added to it.
Yeah, it just keeps on going, We just keep adding more to it.
Anyone else? Are we looking for one motion or three separate?
So yes, we're going to have to do 3 individual motions. The first motion is slightly different because it's no cost to the district. So again, the first motion is just to vote to adopt the investigating history curriculum in grades 3 through 7. It is at no cost to the district. And then the second motion is to vote to adopt the economics textbook in the amount of $10,400, and so on for the third motion.
This is the first time where we're doing the 5 years, right? With that new
Yes,
policy,
so
yeah.
each of those, the economics and the psychology textbooks are each 5-year licenses, and it did benefit us in pricing. We did save a significant amount of money each year. That 5-year license is going to help us in the long run. And the other piece, too, is that it helps align us with our curriculum review cycle as well. So it makes a lot of sense. As you can see, it's a year-long process. It's such a thorough review process. And now those licenses are going to line up right at the right time where we're starting to dive into the research about what worked, what didn't, and what do we want to tweak and what do we need to purchase moving forward to make sure we're offering our kids the best education.
Perfect. Well, I'll entertain some motions.
I would like to motion that we adopt investigating history for grades 3 through 7.
I second.
All in favor? We 5-0-0.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the economics textbook at a cost to the district of $10,400.
I second.
All in favor? 5-0-0.
And I'll just go for 3 here. I motion that we adopt the psychology textbooks at a cost to the district of $5,500.
I second.
All in favor? 5-0-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And one more thing before you leave. Karen kind of underplayed this investigating history grant. I just want to point out it is a $90,000 grant, and that's the total dollar amount, but I'd like to point out that Karen did 4 individual grant applications. Those grant applications had to be 1 per building. So while she is managing an entire curriculum review, she did 4 individual grant applications, coordinated it with our building principals, and was able to obtain 4 grants that are going to support us for the next 3 years. It really is such a significant undertaking, and I'm just so grateful for the amount of work that took and the professional development that we are going to benefit from. Our teachers, I mean, this curriculum, the inquiry-based curriculum, it really is a heavy lift unless you're getting that professional development support. So I'm really grateful for all that you did to write those grants, and we will get those grant funding, those checks in soon, and we'll bring them to the committee once we do. And before I forget to, you both did such a wonderful job. It was a pleasure working with you this year and putting together this final report. Just bravo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving along to our next agenda items, the policy subcommittee first read. So first, just like to thank the policy subcommittee meeting. Clearly, we can see from the minutes that they've been busy the last couple weeks. So thank you for all of your hard work. And, whoever wants to take it away, go right ahead.
All right, I'll go first, and we can pass off so they don't have to listen to the entire voice the whole time. So the first item that we have is the evaluation of superintendent. A lot of these policies, we sort of, they were sort of free-formed or inspired by MASC, but MASC was always updating and everything along, so it just made more sense from a uniformity standpoint to sort of align closer with that wording as they've updated. So I'm going to give you the first read for evaluation of the superintendent. I don't have to do the one we're getting rid of, so we don't have to do that for the change, but
Just as point of clarification, is it still going to be file CBI?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, so we're just adjusting CBI, so I'll go ahead and do the first read here because we do have to do it. Evaluation of the superintendent, file CBI. Evaluation can serve the purpose of helping educators and educational leaders continually improve their practice. Through evaluation of the superintendent, the school committee will strive to accomplish the following. 1, ensure the efforts of the superintendent are focused on district goals and the standards of the professional practice established by state regulation are met by the superintendent. 2, ensure all committee members and the superintendent are in agreement and clear on the role of the superintendent and the immediate priorities among their responsibilities. 3, provide excellent administrative leadership of the school district. 4, develop a respectful and productive working relationship between the school committee and superintendent. The school committee and superintendent will periodically develop a set of goals based on the needs of the school district and in keeping with state regulations for evaluation of the superintendent. The superintendent's performance will be reviewed in accordance with specified goals and standards according to the evaluation cycle agreed upon with the superintendent. All school committee discussion and deliberation related to the superintendent's performance evaluations shall be conducted in open session in accordance with the open meeting law. Source MASC, updated 2022, legal reference MGL 30A 18-25, 603 CMR 35.00. And just a point of clarification for this first read, where it does talk about the school committee and the superintendent agreeing with the evaluation cycle. The evaluation cycle is laid out ahead of time as a part of the rules for it, but what this means with the superintendent and the school committee agreement is if there was something beyond what the state requirement is. So.
Anyone have any questions or comments? Yes, Dr. Burgos.
One of the things that I noticed between the two, so we had the state through the education evaluation changed in 2012. So that policy that you're looking at that is older, which was in 2008 and then updated in 2014. That's one of the reasons of going towards the MASC policy. But one thing that I did notice that you had in the older version, which I believe is important, and it's a sentence that we should keep in this current one, and adding that, which is the last sentence, that school committee members may contribute to the superintendent's annual evaluation only if they've served on the committee for the majority of the contract year. So if we think about, we're at the point of the year, if you have someone that's newly elected, we've always had, they've been on the committee for the last. So I think it would be important to keep that one sentence from the previous policy.
Okay.
I think that's a very good argument and a very fair point. Perfect. Thank you. Next policy is File CL, Administrative Reports.
Do you want me to do that one, Pat?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Okay, so this is the Administrative Reports, File CL. The Foxborough School Committee will require regular reports, updates from the superintendent concerning the conditions, needs, and relevant performance towards district goals of the school and key departments. School, building, and relevant department administrators will be required to keep such records and make regular reports as the superintendent may direct or require. These will include, but are not limited to, the following: individual school updates, academic performance data review, student support services, counseling and guidance, public safety, health and wellness, facilities, IT, curriculum and instruction, including those academic departments due for their curriculum review. The Foxborough School Committee and administration will draft a timeline for presentation of these and any other reports deemed relevant during their July meetings. Upon receipt of the superintendent's reports, the Foxborough School Committee will take steps to clarify relevant details and findings sufficient to appraise the effectiveness with which the schools and/or department are achieving the goals and functions relevant to the school system.
And that was File CL.
Yep, File CL.
Perfect. Any questions or comments? Dr. Burgos.
I think that it's an important discussion for the school committee as a whole here, where the addition of, where it says these will include, and it lists all of those different reports. For the majority of the year, you have your month by month of what happens. I think it's important to have the discussion, though. Do you want to list every single one of those? Does that handcuff you as far as reports by listing all of those out? Because policies, you want it to be more broad and more general instead of getting so detailed. So I think that is something to consider.
I agree with that statement. I don't know. Tell us what your thought was, please.
Sure. So we were evaluating that as a part, because I believe that this was revised fairly frequently, but the revised date wasn't on there, I mean, fairly recently. But one of the things that we were, as part of our discussion for it, was that by having those particular items explicitly stated within the policy, it sort of gives a framework for like the future. Like right now, Dr. Berdos, as well as the members of the committee, know what sort of reports are needed every cycle, because you've been here for quite some time. But in the future, if there's some sort of turnover, we don't want one of the items, because those have been deemed important, to sort of somehow be missed with it. So while it's explicitly memorialized within the policy, that sort of ensures that we're going to have that continuity throughout.
Yeah. The one way that you could accomplish that at the same time is you do have a separate document for the school committee that goes month by month that lists all of those. So if you're wanting to add to that list or delete by referencing that, like we do in so many, like referencing guidebooks or things, then you're able to have some flexibility of adding other reports, things that come up, and you're not having to come back and revise the policy at that time. So just another thought. It's only a first read, but something to maybe think of accomplishing exactly what you're trying to accomplish at the same time.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Next policy is file DD, grants, proposals, and special projects.
I'm going to do this one. All right. This one is basically just a title change for the most part here. So file DD, grants, proposals, and special projects. It was formerly known as the fund and proposals and applications. As Dr. Burrows pointed out, the importance of the grant process and whatnot. So the Foxborough School Committee will encourage the administration to seek and secure all possible sources of state, federal, and other special funds that will enhance the educational opportunities for the students in our schools in alignment with the district goals. In accordance with state law, all grants and gifts to the district must be reviewed and accepted by the school committee before expenditure. The superintendent will submit for school committee approval spending plans at the same cost center level as the district budget. The superintendent will keep informed of all possible funds available to the school system under the various state and federal programs, and in what manner these funds can best be used by the schools in the school system. The superintendent will be responsible for seeking out and coordinating the development of proposals for all specially funded projects and for keeping the committee apprised and updated on all such projects annually. The superintendent and school business manager are authorized to sign all reports for these projects and will be responsible for the proper expenditure and administration of funds and materials received for such projects in alignment with state and federal laws and regulations. The district business office must have a state and federal grant manual with procedures aligned with state and federal law and regulation in order to comply with the state granting requirements. The approval of such a document is not subject to the school committee. The administration should ensure that such a document is being followed. This is source MASC, updated 2022, legal references MGL 4453A and 7137A, PL 874, Impact Aid, Board of Education 603, CMR 3200, 3400, 2 CFR 200, Federal Uniform Administrative Requirements.
Any questions or comments? Go ahead, Dr. Berdos.
A couple of things. The fourth paragraph, the N word where it says annually, I don't know that you need annually there because it might not be annually depending on what special projects are, and just end with updated on all such projects. So that would be a suggestion that I would have. And then my only other question would be in looking at MASC's policy and what they've deleted over time, that third paragraph, they have that deleted, which is what we've had there. They've deleted that in their updated ones. And I'm just wondering if it's because it's partly redundant with what the fourth paragraph is saying. So just, it's not a big deal, just a question if you feel the redundancy piece and having a more streamlined policy.
Anything else? All right. And the final policy for today is file KF, community use of school facilities.
All right, I'll do this one for you, Pat. I said I'll do this one for you. All right, community use of school facilities, file KF. It is the Foxborough School Committee's desire that maximum use of school property be enjoyed by the townspeople. It is the Foxborough School Committee's intent that such use will maintain safe conditions and preserve the property for school program use. Use of school buildings and other facilities by organizations will be permitted only when an educational, civic, recreational, social, or charitable purpose will be served, or a substantial group of citizens from the community will be benefited. School facilities will be used according to the regulations and rental fee schedule as outlined in the Foxborough Public Schools Use of School Facilities Guidelines, and recommended by the superintendent and approval by the Foxborough School Committee. Permission for use of facilities must be obtained through the Office of the Superintendent of Schools, where applications are available for this purpose. Eligibility. School facilities will be available for the following. 1, public school activities. 2, parent-teacher activities. 3, official town public hearings and political activities. 4, meetings and activities sponsored by the Foxborough School Committee and school personnel. 5, parks and playgrounds activities. 6, local nonprofits and non-commercial organization activities. 7, civic, educational, social, and religious organization activities if a substantial portion of the members are residents of the town. 8, the activities of other organizations when approved by the Foxborough School Committee. School and town preference. The priority given requests for the use of the school facilities will be as follows. 1, school activities. 2, town meetings and elections over other community activities. And 3, playgrounds. Any damage or loss resulting from the use of the buildings, equipment, and/or facilities by the renter will be determined by the superintendent of schools. Assessment of the amount of payment incurred by damage or loss will be determined by the superintendent of schools. Additional charges for services rendered beyond the stipulations of the permit will be determined by the superintendent of schools. Page 2. C. All repairs or replacements of damage or loss to buildings, equipment, and/or facilities under the jurisdiction of the Foxborough School Committee occurring during the period of use by the renter will be done at the expense of the renter. Legal references MGL 7171, 7171B, and 27240A. And that's file KF.
Perfect. Any questions or comments?
Yes, can I just ask? I only see a couple little red additions. What prompted this review of this policy? Was it just up for
It's
review?
really more to point towards the guidebook. So what we were saying
Gotcha.
before is an example, so you have it referenced. So this policy is, as you can see, is pretty much the exact same policy, but just to really note that the use of facilities guidelines, which was approved recently, is
Great.
connected to the policy.
Thank you.
Anything else? Well, thank you very much to the policy subcommittee and everyone else involved. Moving on to the next agenda item, we have the policy and budget subcommittees, recreation department, and MSBA building committee appointments. So we do this annually at the same meeting we do the school committee reorganization. So we can start with the policy and budget subcommittees. Does anyone have any thoughts or comments?
Well, I'm an orphan, so I'm happy to join Miss Michelle on, if you all are happy where you're at on policy, I'm happy to join Miss Michelle again. Be a budget gals once again. But that's totally up to you all.
I mean, I have to stay on policy, so it's up to Allison if she wants to do budget or policy.
I mean, I feel like I've only been doing policy for like a week, so I'll stay on policy.
It's been 2 weeks.
It's good
All right,
to get
2 weeks.
It's good to get some momentum
Yeah.
once you get together, and it also it's been a long time since I've done policy, but you know, work that builds, so.
Yeah, no, I would like
It's
to.
kind of,
Yeah, I'd like to
good.
stay. Yep.
Well, I will entertain some motions for that then.
I make a motion to nominate Allison Cully and Pat McGuire for Policy Subcommittee.
Second.
All in favor? That'll be 5-0-0.
Motion to nominate Sarah Ladoni and Michelle Thaxton for the Budget Subcommittee.
Second?
All in favor? 5-0-0 once again. Thank you very much. Moving on to the Recreation Department appointment. So I'll just kick that off by saying last reorganization, last year I was nominated to be on that. I've had a great time doing it, and I'd love to keep doing it for the remainder of my term, which expires next year. But also, if anyone else wants to jump in, more than happy to have that discussion as well.
I had 3 wonderful years on recreation, but I'm enjoying being a volunteer. So if everyone's okay with it, I'd like to nominate Nathan Ehrman to continue to be the Recreation Department liaison.
I second.
All in favor? 5-0-0. Thank you very much. And moving on to our last appointment, the MSBA Building Committee.
Actually, Dr. Burtis, why don't you talk about this?
Sure. So one of the requirements from the MSBA is to have a school committee representation member on that committee for the building committee. And the things that we need to do very soon is put in, that's one of the requirements that's coming up now that the feasibility funding is here. So we need one member. The commitment for that, once we start moving along, typically has been once a month. But then once you get into different phases, it could ebb and flow at different times. But it's the school building committee also joined by the permanent building committee in town. And there's a criteria of all different individuals that need to be the makeup of that. And one of the criteria is a school committee member. So would request that we have a school committee member be appointed to the school building committee.
Does anyone have any thoughts or comments?
Well, Ms. Sexton, would you be interested in taking on that role?
I would be, yes.
If it's the will of the committee, I would love to make a motion. I'd like to nominate Michelle to be the MSBA representative for the school committee, please.
Second.
All in favor? 5-0-0. Thank you, Michelle, and good luck.
Thank you.
Tina Bellinger was on it as the school committee rep for the Borough School. So if you have any questions, she's a great one to reach out to. I saw her last night at the Y annual meeting, and we were talking their excitement about the next project. So it was right fresh in my head. So
All right, great. I'll
thinking
do that. Thank
about
you.
her being on that before.
Thank you. Moving on to the next agenda item is review the warrant signing. So currently, Michelle is the warrant signer. Do you want to talk a little bit about what it is? And
Yes, I go in weekly and I sign the warrants. In the beginning, it gets a little confusing when you see the warrants, but after a while, you get used to what you're seeing. I enjoy doing it. The office is doing a great job. Karen is doing a great job. And I do feel for Karen because she's a couple members down on her team and they are holding up amazingly. They're doing great. Again, I'm okay doing it another year, but if somebody else would like to do it, I am happy to pass that over, as I have done it for 2 years. I also will mention that because I sign the warrants, I also make a point of signing payroll when I'm there, which is something that I don't think was really attached to the warrant signing, but it's just something that I know the timing comes up, and I do. So I always make sure to check payroll as well, just to be sure that it gets done, and they don't have to scramble to find another school committee member.
Which has been greatly appreciated.
thank you for your hard work. Does anyone else have any thoughts?
No, I did that role for 3 years myself, and I've talked about it many times. It's super valuable to have a committee member that's on budget, someone like Michelle, to see the budget and see it flow every week. So if you're willing to do it, I'm really supportive of you continuing that. And I just want to thank you because it is actually another fairly, it's a consistent time. It doesn't take a long time, but it's a consistent role. And I truly appreciate you being so available and, willing to do that.
Yes, thank you, but I also appreciate that when I can't step into it, Sarah, you are always willing to step into it for me. So
We work as a good team.
yeah, so it works out well.
And I think the important piece, too, for our new members to understand, this is something that you're revisiting annually, because in the past, we had to have multiple school committee members to come in to sign, and it could hold things up. Because your lives are busy and trying to get multiple people coming in to sign, this is something that's allowed for you to appoint one member to come sign on your behalf. And so it does make the efficiency much, much better within the office, and then also not having to scramble to have 3 people to come in to sign as well.
I was voted in by the Attorney General post-COVID, my first year in, and that's how I landed in the role. But it's really,
It's beneficial to all.
yeah, it's been great.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm happy if anyone else would like to do it, and if not, I'm happy to do it again. But I mean, I absolutely would let
But as
somebody
Michelle
else.
pointed out, it doesn't just have to be me. If anybody ever wants to go in, and certainly even beyond the signing, if anyone has any questions or ever wants to come see the warrants or have them brought to a meeting, believe me, it's all you have to do is ask it. Everything's completely transparent. But anyway, thank you, Michelle. May I nominate you?
Sure.
All right. I'd like to nominate Michelle Thaxton to be our warrant signer for the next year.
A second?
Any further discussion? All in favor? It'll be 5-0-0. Thank you for volunteering once again.
Thank you.
Next agenda item is acceptance of donations.
All right. Since Ms. Sheridan is at the Massachusetts School Business Administrator Conference this evening, that is why she is not here, I will take over these and really with a lot of appreciation. So the first one that you have there is from the estate of Raymond McKenna, and that is a donation for, I put mine out of order here, I apologize here, $1,444.22, and it's to be directed towards the music department. He passed away in 2004, and this is the direction for that. And we're very appreciative. We'd be asking for an acceptance of that donation.
Just to clarify, there's 2 separate checks, right? One for the drama, one for the music department?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. I'll entertain a motion.
Do we need to, is it one, because it's 2 checks, is it 2 donations, so 2 motions?
Better safe than sorry.
I make a motion to accept with gratitude the donation from Robert McKenna to the Foxborough Music Department in the amount of $1,444.22.
Second.
All in favor? It'll be 5-0-0.
It was Raymond McKenna, right?
Yes.
Yes, what did I say?
Robert, it's
Oh,
okay.
geez, sorry.
Just wanna
Because
make sure
Robert
we
was
have-
here earlier this evening.
I make a motion to accept with gratitude a donation from Raymond McKenna to the Foxborough Public School Drama Department in the amount of $1,444.22.
Second.
All in favor? It'll be 5-0-0. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next one that we have is the Music Drive Us Foundation. It's a charity partner and sponsor of Boston 25's News Zip Trip, their summer TV series. And they kicked off this series for the 2026. Their kickoff stop was Foxborough, so if you didn't see it, you should go back online and watch it. We had our musicians on the town common, and they came and presented them with this big check that we would like for you to accept as part of that program, and it's for $2,500.
That's nice. There was, that zip trip was.
Wasn't
very
it
good.
great?
There was- If you watch it again too, there's a drama group with, my opinion, the cutest little redhead in the world.
Oh, I wonder who that might be.
Well, I wonder who
Might
that
she be a
is.
first grader at Taylor?
I make a motion to accept with gratitude a donation of $2,500 from the Music Drives Us Foundation to the Foxborough Schools Music Department.
Second.
All in favor? 5-0-0. Thank you very much.
The next one is Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the 2026 Safe Celebration Grant. This is a grant from the high school that they go for each year. It's used to defer the cost of transportation. In this case, it's to defer the cost of the transportation for the black and white dance, which is taking place on June 1st. And it's the amount of $500.
I make a motion to accept with gratitude a grant from the 2026 Safe Celebration Grant in the amount of $500 to Foxborough School District for the black and white dance, sorry.
Sorry, second.
All in favor? That'll be 500. Thank you very much.
And the last one is thanks to our student council, STUCO. And this is a $500 donation from the American Red Cross. And it is because STUCO hosted the blood drive.
I make a motion to accept a donation from the American Red Cross in the amount of $500 to the scholarship program for the Foxborough High School. Is that correct?
Yes. Second.
All in favor? That'll be 500. Thank you to everyone for the donations. Moving on to the next agenda item, we have the school committee retreat, which is an action required, so we do need to discuss it and vote on this. Typically, it happens in the summer, and at the last 2 years that I've been a part of, we have had our MASC rep, Sean Costello, there to help us run it, go over goals, procedures, best practices moving forward for the year to come.
So I just wanted to speak on this a little bit. With Miss Quattrini being out, I had asked her to reach out to Sean Costello, but she was out. She's had a few things going on. I don't know if we have any dates to be proposed at this meeting, so we might have to table this for this meeting and bring it back. But and for the point of discussion, it typically, actually, Dr. Bertos, this is an evaluation year, so when would you like the retreat? When would you like the retreat? When does it have to happen by?
We just have to have it by August.
Okay.
As far as with DESE and what we have to turn in for.
I knew there was a timeline.
Yes.
Okay.
So we've typically had it like that third week in July.
Okay.
So if you're able to coordinate, and we have a couple of dates here, that would be helpful to be able to
Sure.
propose those.
So, and I hate to speak on this, Mr. Chair,
go
but
ahead.
I
Go
had
ahead.
coordinated with Ms. Quattrini, so I think once she's back in the office, feeling a little better, maybe she can get something out to the committee regarding Sean Costello, so at least we can have a jumping off point for discussion on some dates that he's available and kind of work it backwards from there to try to have our retreat. Pat, this will be your second retreat, correct?
Yes.
And Allison, this will be your first. So it happens right here in town. And when we use the word retreat, we just retreat from the media. It's our one untelevised meeting where we set our goals and things like that, just to define it.
But it is still open to the public, just
It
for
is,
clarification.
yes,
It is
a
still an
public
open
meeting.
public meeting.
Yes, it is a public meeting,
Any and all are invited.
for sure.
Are there any dates to stay away from that might be helpful?
That's
The
actually.
World Cup.
Well,
I'll tell you the date. I got an idea.
can you come to the microphone, Joe, if you have?
The last World Cup game that Foxborough hosts is Thursday, July 9th, so anytime after that. But I'm not sure in between that. I know we don't host the Final Four or the championship, but although the championship is in New Jersey, that's close by, so people might be staying in the area till the championship on July 19th. Just wanted to give that perspective out.
Thank you very
Definitely.
much.
Thank you, Joe. Does anyone else have any dates that are no-goes for sure that they know of today? And if you don't know today, that is A-okay.
I do. If possible, if we could avoid the 23rd to the 27th.
27th of July.
Yes. Thank you.
And so I have no clue about this. How many days is it? Like, what are the hours?
It's just one meeting.
night.
It's a
Just one
couple
meeting.
hours.
Oh, okay. Oh,
When I
okay,
first
okay.
started, I thought it was
Explain
a
to me,
couple
it's like
day
a whole,
retreat.
like,
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. That's why I was like, all
Hours.
right, wait a minute.
It's a couple
Fingers
hours.
Gotcha, okay.
Typically, I think we've had around 5 or 6 o'clock start time the last few years.
Okay, cool, thank you.
It's an opportunity to really set the school committee goals for the year. and a workshop model when you have MASC there facilitating that.
It's hugely helpful. I think it's hugely helpful. Gives us a direction, steers the ship for the year.
Okay, I don't mean to be a pain, but also the 13th and the 17th, if possible.
The 17th or?
13th through the 17th.
Yep.
But again, anything that comes up, I can be flexible on things, so.
That's the Superintendent Institute that week as well, so that is not, it's always that week, so that's not a good week for myself either.
Okay.
So just, it looks like the week of the 20th and the week of,
Well, the beginning of the week of the 20th.
beginning of the week of the 20th, and then the beginning of the week of the 27th.
The end, I'm away on that Monday, but I'll be back.
Okay,
after that.
so starting the Tuesday and the 20th.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Anyone else have any dates that they can think of now? So we'll loop back with Jamie and hopefully coordinate a couple dates that we can vote on at our next school committee meeting, which is in 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next agenda item is community update. We'll start with Allison.
Oh, crazy to think it's already the middle of May and all the sports are starting to wrap up at the high school. So just my community update is just take a look, see what games you can get out and support some of the high school Foxborough athletes. Crazy to think that the spring season went by so fast.
Michelle?
Yeah, it has. Everything's gone so fast. CPAC is going to host one last workshop for this year. It is going to be a summer transition planning workshop. It is going to be held by Dr. Josh Plummer. It will be Wednesday, May 20th from 7 to 8, and it will be by Zoom. Also, CPAC will be hosting a popsicle play date in August, so look out for information for that. And if anybody is interested in becoming a member of CPAC, we are looking for more members, especially ones with the younger kids. A lot of our kids are older, so anybody in from the preschool or elementary school we could use. Thank you.
Sarah?
Awesome. Well, happy May-cember, everybody. I love that term. It is super crazy. Not to steal your thunder, but Touch a Truck is, for Foxborough Recreation, is this Saturday. I wanted to give a specific shout out in my volunteer role in life. I work with a lot of National Honor Society students, and I'd just like to say the new inductees for the National Honor Society this year have really just come out, really come out of the gate. So helpful, so wonderful. They were at 2 different events that I ran at Subaru. One was a pet adoption. The other one was for Loves the Earth. They came out. They're just so motivated and wonderful. And I know that they're helping out a lot with recreation for the Touch a Truck event. So I just want to give NHS a great shout out. They're so helpful. And the seniors too. The entire NHS organization from Foxborough. I'm so proud to be affiliated. It's really awesome. So I just wanted to, I'm done. Oh, hi, Ariana. Go ahead.
I wanted to give the POPs event at the high school a shout out because it occurred about a week and a half ago or so. I heard it was fantastic. I unfortunately wasn't able to make it, but it's always a great event, so I wanted to make sure that we called attention to that. And we do have so all the kids are going to have field days in the elementary school levels. Those are going to be coming up. I'm sure that parents have gotten their emails for volunteers. Volunteers are really important for that stuff to make sure it runs smoothly because there's hundreds of kids going in thousands of directions somehow. So if you do get that and you can volunteer, it is rewarding too. I've done it before. It's always fun. And then the Special Olympics will be at the high school on May 26th.
Thank you. Dr. Berdos?
So we went so quick in the beginning of the meeting, and I didn't get to say one piece that I wanted to, so I'm going to say it as the community piece. And I just wanted to publicly thank Sarah for her 2 years as chair. We typically rotate every year, and so she had double duty there as far as 2 years in a row. Really appreciated all that you've done and been on top of all of the work that needs to be always a phone call away, and all the behind the scenes that takes place, and all the agenda meetings and everything, and just really appreciate that time with you putting in the extra. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Dr. Burrows.
I have nothing more.
A few rec updates that Sarah didn't steal. The annual fishing derby is June 7th, so that is coming up. And booth is already 70% full, so get those final registrations in before it's too late. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor? 500. Good night, everybody.
Great. 15 minutes early. Good job.